G, coming up on Monday, 9th June 2025 at 5 p.m. It is a special broadcast for the entire Baptist family. Worship and spiritual leadership. I am Temitope Oladipo.
Now let's go down the memory lane. In 2021, Reverend Dr. Olashopo Ayokunle handed the baton of leadership to Reverend Dr. Israel Adelani Akanji after a successful 10 years in office. Reverend Dr. Adelani Akanji emerged the second president of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, which makes him the seventh indigenous leader of the convention. Don't forget that the nomenclature from the general secretary was changed, from general secretary to the office of the president in 2021.
For the past 4 years, Reverend Dr. Israel Adelani Akanji had served as the president of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, navigating the denomination through dynamic times.
Now, this evening, we go behind the scenes of his presidency to explore the vision he cast, the promises he has made, the reforms he led, and the impact he has made on the convention and beyond. This program is not just a conversation, but it is an X-ray of the Baptist leadership in motion.
So join us live on StarTime channel 285 and across all our social media platforms as we engage our president, Reverend Dr. Israel Adelani Akanji, in a reflective and forward-looking dialogue. We also invite you, our Baptist family, to participate by asking your question via the studio line, which will be scrolling on your screen, and also send the WhatsApp message to 0810-627-8124. The number is scrolling on the screen.
Now, it's a lovely evening to our president, who is right here with us. And it's an honor to have him, in the house today as we reflect on the 4 years of the leadership of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. It's good to have you join us this lovely evening, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Now, the Baptist family has watched your journey with great interest, and today we look forward to hearing directly from you about the progress, challenges, and the future direction of our lovely denomination under the leadership. Now, let's begin with the leadership and vision that we talked about now. In your acceptance speech in 2021, you came up with about 12 points, while describing your inaugural speech, and the very first one was talking about how you're reflecting on the vision and the promises of the past. Now, in your acceptance speech, you also emphasized on continuity. Now, can you share, specific programs or traditions that you have strengthened or revived in the last 4 years?
Well, thank you very much. When I was coming in, I saw the total picture as one of newness, and again, I expressed the term continuity and discontinuity. By that, I meant that many things that we were doing in the convention will continue. Basic things, our beliefs and our practices, basic ones will continue. And I also mentioned discontinuity because I saw that in order for us to move forward, there were some things we will have to change our approach to handling as a denomination. And of course, during this period, we have truly experienced that continuity and discontinuity. Let me begin with the area of continuity. Of course, in our church doctrines, in our faith, in our practice, in our worship, in our coming together in terms of our organizations, we all have continued those organizations as they were. We have the Men's Missionary Union, we have the Women's Missionary Union, we have the Youth Department, we have the Royal Ambassadors, Girls Leaders, Girls Auxiliary, Sunbeam. You will look at all those organizations and you will discover that these organizations have continued as we had them before. The Baptist Student Fellowship and so forth and so forth, they have continued. Now, so we are grateful for continuity in that area, but the continuity also has been with newness. Newness has been one of the watchwords or our major watchword concerning the themes of our annual conventions. Every year we enter into some discussions and spiritual experiences on newness. And we took the first year newness through praise and thanksgiving, the next year newness through love and unity, the next year newness through discipleship and apostleship, and then we came to newness through fasting and prayer. And we have discovered that the themes of the convention have been applied by all our organizations. Like never before, we have had the themes being handled at our conference levels, at our association levels, at our local church levels, and at our organizational levels. The men, the women, the youth, all of them discussing these areas of newness. That means there is a sense in which we are having unity in our spiritual growth and doctrine, in learning the Word of God. And I'm so impressed by how various organizations have looked at the themes of the convention, and they have allowed the themes of the convention to guide their programs. It has not been exactly so before. In the past, we hardly were able to put up our response in the way we have responded in the past 4 years to the themes of the convention and ensuring that they permeate all the life of the convention. So that's something which, of course, has continued, but with a greater unity in the enforcement and practice of it. I want to say that, well, yeah, we have had some discontinuity. Before I came to the office, we had this situation wherein we started operating two kinds of convention sessions. The women held their own differently from the men, and it ended up that after the women ended their conventions, they returned to their various churches. Only few women crossed on to the main convention, and therefore we started seeing our convention not having women as part of the main convention. We found out that we were losing out on that, and we discontinued that and returned to bringing the entire convention together to be a week's program and strengthening each organization to be able to utilize 1 week. It's very difficult for families to be away from home for 2 weeks at a stretch in order to attend to the denomination's spiritual program. And don't forget that these same people that attend the convention, they are the ones in their conferences that will attend the conferences, and then they are the same ones that will go to associations, and you expect them the local church. So we felt that for our annual convention, we should ensure that we don't take more than 1 week, and we all put ourselves together to do it. So that is one of those things that we discontinued in order to be able to concentrate in 1 week. And it has been quite robust. When you attend the convention now, the huge population of people, that itself strengthens our spirituality. When we see ourselves in that large number calling upon the Lord together in prayer and calling upon the Lord together in praises, by praising Him, we have been able to experience the presence of God in a way quite different from other times. Many people shared their testimonies with me after the convention of this year in April. Somebody came to that convention and said he had been attending the convention for 27 years and that what he experienced this year was different from what he had ever experienced in all his 25 years of attendance of the convention, which is to make us know that the annual gathering itself of the convention is making great impact in the lives of the people, and they are seeing a kind of newness. So by coming together is some form of this discontinuity of the practice of separation. Now we are together. Also, I have discovered that in the past 2 years now, we have reinstated the Baptist professionals. See, we have many professionals. There are engineers, there are lawyers, there are various professional fields. Of course, the medical field had always been meeting. That never stopped. At a time, the teachers' fellowship also stopped, but they have been reinstated. So during the annual convention now, the professionals meet, and they are thinking of ways to contribute professionally to the development of our denomination. It's not as if we have not had professionals working for us before, but they did not come together as a body. Now they are a body, and they are ready to render help. We're praying that it will be cascaded to the conferences and even associations where such bodies will exist. So when a conference has a project, the professionals will be able to come in and give their advice. When the association has a project, they will be able to come together. So in the convention now, it's been quite robust. This year, the Baptist professionals came and gave testimonies that their fellowship had never been like that before. And so we look forward to seeing the architects coming together, structural engineers coming together, electrical, mechanical, all of them coming together, and other professions coming together, and then going into various areas where they can be of help to the denomination. We are grateful that we've been able to attain that. It was not there before. It has come back, and we give thanks to God for these things that we have been experiencing. But one other thing, which of course is some kind of continuity, is what we call the General Workers' Conference. That every year we enter the year, just at the beginning of the year, we enter the year taking the spiritual concern of our denomination around the entire nation, so that we have about 12, 13 different zones that we go to. This year, for instance, we entered the year reminding everybody that the theme for the year, it is a year of entering into newness through fasting and prayer. And then we moved on from the first station in Abuja. We went on to Kaduna. After 3 days again, we were in Gombe. And then from there again, we moved to Ibadan, then to Ogbomoso, then to Okeogun. And from there again, journey was to Ahoda, and journey to Calabar, and journey to Sapele, and then journey to Lagos. So one thing is that this year we were able to add Lagos as a center. In the past, they made Lagos to join Ibadan. Now, looking at Lagos, Lagos is where we have our strongest workforce as a denomination. The 3 conferences in Lagos have over 1,000 pastors, just pastors alone, not to talk about the churches and the members. And we just felt that a center must be in Lagos. And so this year we moved to Lagos. As we had gone to all the other places, we ended up in Lagos with a very robust program. And don't forget that this same General Workers Conference, we take it to our Baptist people at the Republic of Benin, when we meet at the Ohori Home Mission Field, and we also go to Côte d'Ivoire to meet with our Baptist conference in Côte d'Ivoire. It's just been a beautiful and a large coming together of Baptist people. So you can see a lot of our work spreading around, and everybody having it. If you go to any Baptist group now, what is your emphasis for this year? They will tell you it's entering in years through fasting and prayer. And of course, this year something great happened to us. At the end of that fasting and prayer, then we adopted that every first, second, and third of every month now, henceforth, we will be holding a fasting and prayer period in all our Baptist churches. We call it the Ahava Canal service. And the first one began this June. It was so very well attended by people from all over. Ahava Canal service. In this service, all Baptist people are expected to be fasting and waiting on the Lord concerning the various issues. In our country, the issues are enormous. Is it terrorism? Is it insecurity? Is it the issue of food, insecurity on food, and several other problems in our nation, avoidable problems? A nation that is so blessed but cannot harness its own assets for the benefit of everybody. So we have seen that Nigeria really has a major spiritual problem, but not just Nigeria, all of Africa, not just Africa, the whole world. And Nigeria is a significant part of the world. If out of every 7 black people you meet in the world, 1 is a Nigerian, then that means that Nigeria is very important in the world. And the Nigerian Baptist Convention is a major part of the Christian body in Nigeria, and we should be making impact. So if we are waiting on the Lord in fasting and prayer, we believe that the Lord himself will visit us. Don't forget, 2 Chronicles 7:14 says to us, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn away from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal their land. So for us, we are beginning to see our coming together, this unity in prayer now. So on the 3rd day of every Ahabara Canal service of the month at 8 p.m., there is a prayer. We've been having this Zoom prayer and having close to about 500 people praying. We know that before too long, it will be bigger than that. And I'm seeing us breaking it again. Rather than making it just one Zoom, the same prayer now may have to take place in different conferences. And by the time conferences will be able to tell us how they have prayed, we should be talking about thousands of people calling upon the Lord at the same time through the Ahava Canal service. So these are some things happening locally. But thanks be to God, internationally too, things have been changing. The Nigerian Baptist Convention ministers of God in the United States of America and the Nigerian Baptist Convention ministers of God in the United Kingdom, they have had this coming together as fellowship of ministers of God, and we've been having interaction with them, strengthening them. You know, this syndrome of Japa, people are moving to various parts of the world. We have felt that we should strengthen the ministry abroad so that they will be able to engage the influx of people from Africa, from Nigeria, to be able to provide worship opportunities that will be able to touch them spiritually and help them not to derail from their focus on God, particularly when they find themselves in the foreign land. So those two countries have been working hard. In the United States of America, last year they held their second coming together. But something now happened this year in the United Kingdom. The group in the United Kingdom, they have come together and they now bear the name Nigerian Baptist Conference, United Kingdom. Nigerian Baptist Conference in the United Kingdom. That is the beautiful thing that the Lord has done for us now. And I was there in the United Kingdom last month in Manchester specifically, to inaugurate the new Nigerian Baptist Conference in the United Kingdom. This is not a coming together of pastors alone. It is the coming together of all the churches, the Baptist churches that have Nigerian kind of connection, and yet working together with other Baptist people in the United Kingdom. Very well organized group of people who came together. So that conference has started. It was never there before. So it's a new thing. And we have been thinking of how to connect more abroad, because missions now is from everywhere to everywhere. Yes, we know our global mission board is doing a lot of work in various countries of Africa and things like that. But we just felt that there is what we call the reverse mission. You know, the earlier missionaries came from Europe to Africa. The reverse mission is that from Africa now, the gospel is going back to Europe and to the western part of the world. And our own Nigerian Baptist Convention, our people are strongly involved in doing the great work that is going on now in the United Kingdom. There is also the Baptist group in Yorkshire, also in the United Kingdom. They belong to the British Baptist Union. They belong to it. But the group in Yorkshire, they have opened up to us and spoken to us in the Nigerian Baptist Convention. They want us to come and have collaboration so that our ministers in the United Kingdom can participate more in the life of the Baptist Union of Great Britain and be of service there. And to me, this is a welcome development. I studied in Britain myself, and I've been looking forward to that recognition of what the Nigerian Baptist ministers can do in the churches of Great Britain. And it is happening now that more collaboration is being requested. So we can see that in the United States of America, yes, the work of the Nigerian Baptist work is spreading more and more. In the United Kingdom, the Nigerian Baptist work is spreading through what we now call the Nigerian Baptist Conference of the United Kingdom. So great work they are doing. We are quite impressed. So some of these things have happened.
Structure has expected a lot of positive results for the Nigerian Baptist Convention. It's hope that it's going to bet more positive results.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, your area of study is practical theology with special interest in conflict transformation, and you've expressed concern about internal disputes ending up in court. So what conflict resolution strategies have you implemented, and how successful have they been, given to the case study of the Ajegunle and the New Glory case?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. My area of interest in studies is conflict resolution. it goes under many names: conflict resolution, conflict transformation, conflict management, conflict handling, conflict intervention, in fact, conflict solution. The field is so wide, and we try to do a lot to be able to assist in the areas of conflict. You asked about the Church of Ajegunle Baptist Church here in Ibadan. When I came to the office, I found that in Ajegunle Baptist Church there was a crisis, and the crisis had been in court for 5 years before I came to the office, and I felt that it was a direct challenge to my own area of discipline when I found out that there was conflict going on in Ajegunle Baptist Church. So I called our admin council together. We asked ourselves questions, what we could do. So they gave me files upon files, how the problem began, the various efforts that had been made for the conflict to be resolved, and how things had failed. So on ground, the basic thing is that in the church there was a major division. There were 2 groups in the church, and part of the reason for the division has to do with the name of the church. The church has always been known by the Nigerian Baptist Convention as Ajegunle Baptist Church, but it came to a time a new name came as New Glory Baptist Church. Whenever it was, there was no agreement between them on this name being New Glory, and then there were other accusations and counter accusations, which also involved the pastor of the church, and everything was messy. So by the time I came, I discovered that the matter had even involved the convention. Even my predecessor was taken to court by one of the groups of the Ajegunle Baptist Church. I think the New Glory side had already taken the convention president to court, and the convention had been handling that. So I now came into the picture, and I was praying on what to do. When I came, I found out that a group was outside. They were no longer worshiping in the church, but they were calling themselves Ajegunle Baptist Church. A group was inside the church, and then the group from outside came and told me that they were all in the church, but when on a Sunday there was a major violent actions, one to another, the convention now said everybody should leave the church and the church should be closed. And so they experienced leaving, all of them left. But maybe 2 weeks or a month after, one group came back, and that is the New Glory group. But the other group said they had remained outside because the convention was the one that said they should stay outside. They were waiting for the convention to call them to come back inside. But the convention had not yet done so. When I just saw that, I said, okay, the best thing is let's look for ways to solve this problem. So I sent for the 2 groups that I needed to see them. And I spoke with them because they had gone to court. And so the beginning point was, no, we are children of God. You understand? As at the time I came to the office also, I found out that the pastor of the Ajegunle Baptist Church, he came in as pastor of Ajegunle Baptist Church, but now he was bearing more pastor of New Glory Baptist Church because that's the faction. So he was already involved in the factions. He was on one side, and then the other group was without a pastor. So, and the convention record was that he had been disrobed as a Baptist pastor. When you are disrobed, that means you are no longer recognized as a pastor of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. That's what had happened before I came to the office. And when I came and met with the admin council members, I felt, okay, the first thing is, let us do this. We need to call the 2 groups. All cases should be withdrawn from the court. The Bible teaches us not to take ourselves before the law courts. So all cases should be withdrawn. Second, the pastor that has been disrobed and told he's no longer a pastor of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, we should please remove that discipline on him and re-robe him as a pastor of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, which was what we did. So all was in the process of reconciling, and they went and they removed all cases in court. I think there were about 9 cases in court, 5 by one group, 4 by the other group, and they went and removed all the cases from court. So we all had great joy. We could see unity returning to the church, triumph returning to the church. That was how it all began. Now, I now brought the 2 groups together, their representatives. I said, I wanted 15 from this side, 15 from this side. They should come, and they came. And I now did a random grouping of people into 5s. I told them to pick number 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All 1s here, all 2s here, all 3s here. You know, this is a conflict resolution approach. In this approach of conflict resolution, you make the people in the disputation or in the conflict, you make them to be part of the solution. They should give us response on how these matters will be solved. So that's what we did, and I put, so I had them into, I think I had 5 groups. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We had 5 different groups. I put one of the directors from the convention office to be the head of each group, and I had questions for them. And I said, each group should go and write me 5 things to be done to solve the problem for the church, the 2 groups to come back together. And because while we were interrogating the matter, we had even suggested that, okay, the group outside, let's go and buy another land so that you become a church on your own. They said that they were not leaving their church, that the church is Ajegunle Baptist Church, that's their church. In fact, the pastor, they were the ones that called him to come and be their pastor. They even mentioned those who went to bring him from his former station to the church, among them that were now outside. How will we go and bring a pastor and now we will leave the church for him and go and start another church? We love our church. We want to return to our church. So when we found out that the people were not willing to go to another place, so that's what led to this grouping of people. Okay, give me, and then they wrote various points down on how the problem will be solved. And I myself had written some points down on what I felt would be the way forward. Now, about that, we all were in agreement. Almost all the groups, number 1, they agreed that the name of the church should return to Ajegunle Baptist Church. And they should stop bearing the name New Glory Baptist Church. So Ajegunle Baptist Church. That's number 1 agreement. Number 2 agreement was that the pastor of the church should remain Reverend Dr. Oyekan. Because some people said they didn't want him again as pastor. But at the end of the whole matter, the name Ajegunle was adopted. The pastor Oyekan was accepted by all. So we went on, and we felt that we had found solution. And we took this matter to the executive committee of the convention, that everything was going to work and things would be all right. And we told the people outside to start getting ready to come in. But all of a sudden, again, we just got a showdown from the people in New Glory Baptist Church. Not the ones outside, the people inside. We got a showdown. And we now started talking again. Then the convention was coming. And we started saying that at the convention, we are going to disfellowship them if they were not going to cooperate. But just before the convention, the New Glory people came. They said they were ready. They were ready for reconciliation. So we set up another committee to go and look at the terms for the reconciliation, and they brought out about 4 or 5 points. Number one is still the name of the church should be Ajegunle Baptist Church. Number two, the pastor of the church is Reverend Dr. Oyekan. So still as part of the original things that we discussed. Number three, they agreed that a reunion service should be conducted. And number four, they agreed that a committee will be set up to ensure that there will be re-election of officers, so that the officers will not be only those on New Glory side. Since this was coming in, they were not new people in the church. They were part of the church together before. So we said they should do something so that each group will have somebody among those in the church leadership. If the diaconate chairman is from the New Glory, then the church secretary may be from the ones Ajegunle outside, or whichever will let them just make sure that everybody is involved, and that we were going to give them 2 months to do that. So they agreed with us. And the Sunday before the convention, we went to the church to do the reunion service. The people outside came in, they themselves inside were in, there were hugs, there were people crying. They were happy to see themselves because they had been apart for maybe about 7 years or something like that. So we went to the convention. The recommendation to disfellowship the church was already in the book of reports, because we didn't know we would have a reunion. The recommendation to disrobe the pastor was already there. But since the reunion had taken place just before the convention, we had to tell the convention in session that the recommendations would not stand, and that we had given them 2 months to ensure that they did all that we said. So the convention executive committee, they were a little suspicious of the way New Glory Baptist Church people came to say they were ready for reconciliation. They felt they just used it not to be disfellowshipped by the convention. So they now requested that we should give them the 2 months. If after 2 months everything we have said are in place, then, or everything is in place, then we will continue with them. But if after 2 months things are not in place, we should go ahead and implement the disfellowship and the disrobing of the pastor. So that was what happened. And 2 months after the convention, we went to the church. We were sad. We were sad. We were sad because they did not return to the name Ajegunle Baptist Church, which they signed and agreed that they did not return to Ajegunle Baptist Church. Of course, Dr. Oyekan was still the pastor, so they accepted that aspect. But the name of the church, they did not change it. And of course, the issue of maybe coming together to appoint church officers, that never came up, because so we spoke with them in the church, and we got to know that the pastor did not implement anything we said. So since the convention had said if after 2 months they will not implement, then we should go ahead with the original decision. So that's how the convention now, we now disrobed the pastor again, and we disfellowshipped the church. So when we did that, of course, there were other pastors too, not just the pastor. There were many pastors whose names were in the bulletin of the church as pastors of the church. So we said we were disrobing the pastor. Then all of this, they saw the pastors began to write us. They said they were preaching stations of Ajegunle Baptist Church. They were not preaching stations of New Glory. They were preaching stations of Ajegunle Baptist Church. And that in all the confusion, they were not part of discussion and everything. They were pastors of the Nigerian Baptist Church. So 6 of them, we had to write to rescind the decision that they were dismissed and to say we have accepted back into the kingdom. And then the Ajegunle Baptist Church people who were they were to us that they are Ajegunle Baptist Church and the name of their church, and they are working in the convention. Once the convention disfellowship them. So we now discovered that the committee of the convention we met, we said no, let's reinstate the of those who are willing to be with us. So we reinstated them, but we have not reinstated Dr. Yeka and 2 of his other associates. We consider them to be outside of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. They are not our pastors right now. And the Christian Association of Nigeria came. We have told them they are not our pastors. We said that. And of course, they now took us to court again. They took me to court for disfellowshipping them and for disrobing him. So they went back to court and they are still in court. But we said that church is Ajegunle Baptist Church. Later on, we came to find out that they had gone to register to change the name in CSC. They registered it. They said they are now New Glory Baptist Church. But when they did that registration, there was a counter newspaper advert that says no, our church is still Ajegunle Baptist Church. So definitely, if a church is registered as New Glory Baptist Church, then it's not that one. It should be New Glory and it should exist somewhere. So that's what happened. The convention, we did everything to ensure that we were together, but they will not work together. So, but the people kept going to the church, and there were a lot of very acidic and poisonous speeches, announcements, sermons. In fact, the pastor literally abused me, abused the members of the he ridiculed us. So I think there was a fight.
I think many people will still want to hear the other side of the story you're about to mention, but we need to go on a break now. And when we come back, we go into that. Please stay with us.
Across Nigeria and beyond, in celebration of the 4 years in office of our president. Watch it live on New Frontiers TV, Startups Channel 285, or stream on all our social media platforms, Facebook at New Frontiers TV, and YouTube, New Frontiers Television Broadcasts. To be part of the conversation, call the studio directly or send a WhatsApp message to 081 06 278124. Don't miss this opportunity to hear about the journey so far, the achievements of the last 4 years, and the vision for the remaining 1 year. Hello, Baptist family. The time has come once again to connect, reflect, and hear from our leader. It's Media Chat 2.0 with the President of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, Reverend Dr. Israel Adelani Akonji, coming up on Monday, 9th June 2025 at 5 p.m. It is a special broadcast for the entire Baptist family across Nigeria and beyond, in celebration of the 4 years in office of our President. Watch it live on New Frontiers TV, Startups Channel 285, or stream on all our social media platforms, Facebook at New Frontiers TV, and YouTube, New Frontiers Television Broadcasts. To be part of the conversation, call the studio directly or send a WhatsApp message to 081 06
David, are we good now?
Yes, many thanks for staying with us. It's still Media Chat 2.0 with the convention president, Reverend Dr. Israel Adelani Akonji. And just before we went on that break, he was trying to let us know the situation of things with the crisis rocking the Ajegunle Baptist Church and the New Glory Baptist Church. And I'm sure many Baptist family will want to know the state of things presently with that case, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Well, so is that and the effort I kept trusting that the coming together will be a reality. Several pastors came to talk, and many of them were like friends of Dr. Yekam. They were saying that he's a good person, he's this and that. I said, all right, if he's a good person, let him comply by the decision. The church should bear the name Ajegunle Baptist Church. If in the future, one day, they want to change the name, they will change it. Since they tried changing it, his own point is that one church was bearing one name, it changed. One church was bearing another name, it changed. Well, any church could change the name if there is agreement. But when there is no agreement and it led to fight, it led to injuring one another, police coming in, definitely we have to stand down on that. And that was what we told them to do. For whatever reason, Oyeka continued, and we don't know what he said in the church one Sunday. And on Monday, all the people who are like Ajegunle Baptist people, they came to the convention headquarters to say, convention president, we want to let you know, whatever happens in our church next Sunday, we should not be held responsible. You have told us to be patient. We've been patient and patient and patient with this man. He insults us every Sunday we come. Our children will no longer take the insults. Anything that happens next Sunday. So when it got to that level, we had to inform the police. Please, this church, we cannot guarantee safety in the church on Sunday. We want you to help us look into the matter. So that was how we had to hand them over, because they had fought and injured themselves before, torn the clothes of one another. Instead of us losing out by one strong law on the entire church, we felt we should report to the police and the police. So the police actually made sure that there was no coming into that church. Let everybody go and worship where he wants. But later on, the the group called New Glory, they wrote us, they said they were withdrawing from the convention and they were no longer part of the convention. So if you are no longer part of the convention, that's good. So move away and go and start your church somewhere. You bear the name New Glory. You have registered it. We have in our convention the name Ajegunle Baptist Church. And the constitution of the church shows that it is a church of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. You have said you are no longer part of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. So that was what happened. And since that time that the police went there, they have not been able to return to the church to worship. We have just told the police that we cannot guarantee the safety of the people there as a convention. And that's all we did. Now, the issue is that people have come, some retired pastors, they have come here to see me. I told them I have no problem at all. It's not about me. This is the issue. This man is supposed to comply by what was decided. They were all together when they took the decision. And the convention has said, yes, that decision should stand. The church should be Ajegunle Baptist Church. The pastor is Reverend Dr. Oyeka. We didn't remove him from being the pastor of the church. We say he should continue. But they will not bear the name Ajegunle Baptist Church, which was part of the main original problem. So for you to return there is like you are unwilling to even shift in order that we will have some peace. The other group, they shifted. They didn't want Oyeka as pastor. But we told them, no, you have to have him. And so they agreed. Let him be their pastor. So it was expected that they too will shift and bear the name they were bearing before, until such a time when there is peace, when they can say, okay, we want to change the name to whatever. But we felt there was nothing too difficult to do in that. And they promised that they would do it, but they did not do it. That's the people that call themselves New Glory. So have we made efforts? Yes. We even saw ourselves succeeding. I even went with the team of all the admin council of the convention. We went to the church. We worshipped in the church. We had a reunion service. I was the one that preached on that day. But the pastor of the church, he refused to do what he was instructed to do. It's such a painful thing that there is a lot of misuse of our understanding of autonomy of the local church. There is no organization that doesn't have regulations. You cannot be working and not be ready to comply by the regulations of your organization. You don't recognize the leaders of your organization. I believe that it is only in the Baptist church that a pastor of the church will openly be abusing the president of the denomination like that. And his church secretary speaks malodorous things out of his mouth. In fact, sends me very terrible text messages. For what reason? You know? So that's why a lot of people are feeling that our autonomy needs to recognize regulations. And when people don't follow the regulations of the denomination, they should be disciplined. There is no organization in the world you will run without discipline. Even in your family, if there is no discipline, everything will break down. There must be discipline. The fact that we say there is autonomy of church, a local church, what we mean there, you can call the pastor you want, but you cannot call anybody. If a pastor is not a trained pastor in the Baptist church, you cannot call him to be your pastor. Once you go and bring somebody not trained in the Baptist church, has no Baptist training as your pastor, then you have done a wrong thing. You are not following our regulation, and we can discipline you. So, but you can call any pastor among those trained in the Bible. So you can see there is some flexibility, but it also has limitation. You cannot just do everything. That's how it should be. You are a pastor working within the denomination. You are being corrected by the head of the denomination. You understand? And you are not listening. You know what happened? The case was reported to Christian Association of Nigeria. Christian Association of Nigeria has 5 branches. One of the branches of Christian Association of Nigeria is called Christian Council of Nigeria. So Nigerian Baptist Convention, we belong to Christian Council. So when the matter got to Christian Association of Nigeria in Oyo State, they handed it over to the Christian Council, where we belong. The leadership of Christian Council came to find out what was happening in Ajegunle Baptist Church. And the leader of the council, who belongs to one of our mainline denominations, he asked, he said, "You mean in the Baptist church you told a pastor he is no longer your pastor and he's still in the church?" We said, "Yes." He said, "What is wrong with you people?" He told us that in his own denomination, a pastor misbehaved in Ibadan and that he sacked the pastor and only reported to the headquarters that so pastor, I have sacked him because I'm the bishop of Ibadan. I have sacked him. In other words, a person with the capacity of our conference president can even sack a pastor in that particular denomination. But within the Nigerian Baptist Convention, even the apex body cannot call a pastor and say, "Pastor, look at what you are doing." And as a denomination, we are not a wicked denomination. Do you know that that pastor who is abusing me, the head of the denomination, do you know that his wife is a lecturer in Bowen University? If we were to be vindictive or people that are retaliative, will his wife be? I'm the visitor to Bowen University. By a stroke, by one sentence of letter, I don't want this particular staff in that school again. She's gone. But we have used every Christian magnanimity. She's still teaching in the religious department. What has such a woman got to do teaching children of a university that belongs to the Nigerian Baptist Convention when her husband and her family, they are openly disregarding the leadership of the convention, the executive committee? We are the ones that stand as the proprietors of Bowen University, but she's still working in Bowen University. And that is not enough for them to think and say, let's change what we are doing. Let's do what is right. That is how bad they are acting. So the question is, are we not in our bid to have peace? Let them not feel we hate them. That's why we are saying we are sacking the wife from work. Let them not feel this. But can you imagine the insults we have received from Oyeka and from the secretary of the church? There is a secretary of the church I heard is a pharmacist. He works with, what's the name? UCH. As a denomination, we have a strong standing. Of all the mainline denominations, we are the only ones with headquarters in Ibadan. We have a long standing in Ibadan. Our reputation is strong enough to write an official letter to UCH to say that one of your staff is undermining, you understand, the peace of our denomination. And let him go and see whether they will say, well, this is not part of your job. You can be undermining their peace there. You are still our good staff. There are many things we can do to upturn people, but we are following the way of Christ. Why don't you stop this and come together? Up to now, we are saying, let Oyeka withdraw what he is doing with an apology. But he's not ready. He just feels he's untouchable. So that is what has led to where we are. Unfortunately, I think another thing that has led to where we are is that we have many people who don't tell the truth to somebody who is doing what is wrong. Assuming everybody around him says, what you are doing is wrong. What you are doing is wrong, he will realize it quickly. But when you are telling somebody what you are doing is wrong, another person is patting him on the head. Please come, you are the one to preach in my church next week. Can you imagine? We have disrobed a person from being a Baptist pastor. Another Baptist pastor says, come and preach in my church. So you can see, we have a problem with the understanding of our autonomy. Our autonomy does not mean you should just be behaving anyhow. We are an organization. Regulations, rules, constitution, practices, policies must be followed. And that's all we are telling them in the Ajegunle. But that's not all the news. We have another good news. Yesterday, I was in a church called the First African Baptist Church. The First African Baptist Church. They were part of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. And they left the convention in 1948. So yesterday, the church turned 77 years on their own out of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. But before that yesterday, the lead pastor of that church, and they have about 8 other branches, the lead pastor came to say that he studied at the Nigerian Baptist Theological Seminary, Ogbomoso, and all the pastors of their churches studied in the theological institutions of our convention, some in Ogbomoso, some in Oyo. So they have maintained the Baptist tradition. They even said that their royal ambassadors were part of the association of the convention, leaders, WMU, MMU, all of them are participating in the Nigerian Baptist Convention programs and associations. But the church itself and its branches, they have not returned to the Nigerian Baptist Convention. So they were inviting me on their 77th anniversary to inform me that they have taken the decision to return to the Nigerian Baptist Convention. So we are just to wait and for a day when that return will be put together in a church service where they will be welcoming them back after 77 years. So we are grateful to God that it's not always the same story of some people disagreeing with the convention. There are those who disagreed with the convention in the past who are on their own willing to return to the Nigerian Baptist Convention. And for me, that is a major victory from God for us.
That's a great feat for the convention and yes, your administration as that. All right, thank you so much for telling the story that yes, most people have not heard before now. Another germane point that you mentioned during your inauguration in 2021, you spoke about the convention investment, which needs to be more inclusive. Now, we would like you to brief us how far you've been able to impact on the investment of the convention.
Well, thank you very much. The inclusiveness I was talking about in the investment of the convention had to do with the fact that the convention alone as a national body cannot handle the investment opportunities of the entire nation as a convention. And this is what I mean. That we must include local churches. We must include associations. We must include conferences with us in the investments. Let us look at example of schools. In those days, we had schools. People went to those schools from various places. Now, the government came and took the schools away from us. You know what the churches did, the local churches? The local churches built new schools and put their children in their own newly built schools. And their children stopped going to the old Baptist schools that the government had taken away. I mean, they didn't go in large numbers anymore. So each church now had a primary school, many churches have secondary schools, growing. Now, the government now came back later when the schools had been dilapidated and spoiled. They now said they were returning our schools to us. We have one such school, Baptist Boys High School, Port Harcourt. We have Baptist Girls High School, Agbo. These were two great schools that belonged, you understand, to the Nigerian Baptist Convention. but taken by government. When they gave them back to us, they have now become institutions needing overhauling completely. Now, the strength of the convention cannot handle every school. We have Bowen University, we have 10 theological institutions that the convention is caring for, paying the teachers and all the things all over the country. So this is where we are saying that there is need for collaboration. We now need, like in Port Harcourt, let's First Baptist Church Port Harcourt, another Baptist church in Port Harcourt, you understand, come together in a memorandum of understanding with the convention. I will say this school belongs to this tripartite convention, this church, this church. You understand? You people are in Port Harcourt. You are close to the school. Monitor it for us, and the dividends will go to the three groups. Convention will have this percentage. You will have this. You will have this. This is the kind of thing that I came in as a vision for us to pursue. And we started getting into talks with some of the stakeholders in Port Harcourt, in Agbo, on how to handle the schools so that the schools will bounce back. In fact, of recent, we had to go again to have a similar discussion with our Baptist hospital in Eku. That's a major investment of the denomination. It was taken over by the government. It is now called Baptist Government Hospital, Eku. You understand? And when we went to meet the Eku community, they said, well, they had been waiting for us to come so that we will have this discussion, so that the hospital will be back to be a Baptist hospital in Eku. So how will it be back? We will now need everybody to be a part of it. The investment should no longer, you see, partnership is the word now in development. Nobody does everything alone. You must bring people here, have understanding of how you will go, and you will discover that you will have progress. But if we continue to have our headquarters in Ibadan, and we say that the school in Kontagora is our own, the school somewhere is our own, and there is no local participation of the people on ground. After all, what do we call convention? Convention does not mean headquarters. Convention means all of us, wherever we are still the convention. And so, in order for people to really feel they are the convention, they will need to participate in our investments so that these investments will be made strong. So, in Oyo, for instance, we have a water factory investment, and we wanted to move it away from there, but the Oyo Association people say we should leave it for them. They will run the water factory. So, okay, that's good. Let's just have a negotiation. You run it, and we have this percentage. We work together. So at the end, it's win-win. You are winning, we are winning. So that's the kind of thing we were talking about when it comes to participation of others. We have also discovered that our schools are very enviable schools. People love our schools. Let me give you an example of Jos. In Jos, we have the Baptist High School, Jos. That's the school I attended. I still keep saying that's the best school in Nigeria. But that's my school. Then, because of patronage, and we didn't want the school to become too large, because we felt that if the school became too large, we would not be able to give that close monitoring that was giving us these best students every time. So we began another school and called it Baptist Model High School in a different part of town, but with the same curriculum, the same kind of things happening in the two schools. And then the conference, Plateau Baptist Conference, also told us they wanted to start a school. So we encouraged them, why not? Start. Now, the Plateau Conference has another Baptist school in Jos. First Baptist Church, Jos, has a Baptist Science Secondary School in Jos. So come and see, Nasarawa Baptist Church has a primary and secondary school Baptist in Jos. United Baptist Church has a primary school in Jos. And so what we are saying here is that our investments should not just be in the hand of the national body. Let the other parts of the convention, in some cases, partner with the convention, and in some cases, own the places themselves. So I was in Plateau South Baptist Conference. I went to Baptist High School, Shandam. I was so proud. The Baptist High School, Shandam, the number of students there is almost larger than Baptist High School Jos. I then went to Baptist Academy in Lantan. That's another town. That particular school belongs to the Urushalima Baptist Church in Lantan. That means Jerusalem Baptist Church. In Hausa language, Jerusalem is Urushalima. Urushalima Baptist Church in Lantan. So what are we doing? Still providing that education that will emphasize godliness and excellence, even at our secondary level. So it is investment. The local church is strengthened. The conference is strengthened. And of course, the convention is losing nothing, because the stronger they are, the better their collaboration with the convention. So I meant all these things when I was saying that in the area of our investment, we should be open and inclusive of everybody. And now, when the Baptist mission schools, when they are having annual retreat for all our schools, they bring the principals and maybe one or two staff from all the schools. It doesn't matter whether it belongs to the convention or the conference or the local church. They bring all of them together to again teach a lot of standard practice. We are Baptists. This is what we believe. This is how our schools must operate. This is the way we must function, so that one Baptist school will not be spoiling our name and be destroying the other Baptist schools. So you will hardly know the difference of the ownership or proprietorship of any of the Baptist schools, because both at the local church level and at the conference level, they are treating the schools like the convention level schools. So everybody is gaining, we're all participating.
So it's a win-win thing for everyone.
Win-win
yeah.
for everybody. And ultimately, it makes the convention stronger. Because if the bases are strong, they will be able to promote and give more to the work of the convention.
All right, sir. So let's talk about the social ministries partnership, because I remember that during your speech you mentioned that we want to register our social ministry as an NGO. You spoke about registering the social ministry as an NGO, and has that been accomplished, and have we attracted any form of partnership or grant to support the vulnerable groups?
Yeah. Well, you know, the social ministries of the convention, the philosophy we have is to take care of the needy people as instructed by Jesus. He has taught us that those who have no clothes should be given clothes, those who are hungry should be fed, those who are in the hospital should be visited, you know, and all the areas of handling those at the margins of life. That's what the social ministries stands for. Now, along the line, when I came about wanting our social ministries to have, to be registered as an NGO kind of thing, then I discovered that within the system of the convention, we have a communism department that has registered an NGO they call EDAPI, and the student and youth ministries, they have also registered an NGO. And I discovered that the things that these two ministries are doing are social ministries kind of work. So on one side, I felt that we were already achieving some of the things that we wanted to do. Let me give you an example. The ecumenism department, was able to get grants during the flood that took place in Maiduguri, in Borno State. Ecumenism department was able to get grants to be able to help the victims of the flood. So there was grants from the Baptist World Alliance because the Ecumenism Department has this NGO. There was also support from the various churches of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, coordinated by the head office. We received all the support, and we were able to give the support to the Ecumenism Department to put together, and social ministries, all of them together, to go to Maiduguri. I was even there myself as the leader of the denomination to meet the victims of the flood. And when we got to Maiduguri, we did what everybody was praising us for, because our care for the relief materials we took there, we administered it to all victims, Christians, Baptists, non-Baptists, Muslims, and you know Maiduguri has huge Muslim population, and we made sure that all those people were assisted. This is a great work of social ministries, even though being conducted principally by the grants that came through ecumenism. So our own point is, what we want is to be involved in social ministries, touching the lives of people who are facing disaster. And it doesn't really matter whether we touch them under the name of social ministries or MMU or youth. All we want is, we want to touch lives. Then the NGO belonging to the youth and students ministries, they were able to attract grants to assist also flood victim of Ondo. They wrote a proposal about it, and grants were given. The convention also supported, and I also joined them. Together we went to Ondo. Social ministries was there, but this grant came through the student and youth ministries, and the grant was given for some social action. Therefore, the social ministries, which we said we will register so that it will be able to attract grants, the social ministries work is already being done through ecumenism, EDAPE, through the youth and student ministries. Now, yet we have not stopped that our intention to do the registration of the social ministry. So we have encouraged the social ministries to put up to everything. So we already have now a board of trustees for the social ministries, and everything is set now for us to go for registration of their own. But I'm just trying to let you know that while that has been awaited, we have continued to be involved in social ministries. Then we have had times when we had to travel to areas of disaster. I remember going to Plateau State one time with the Vice President, Admin and Human Resources. He comes from that area, so we went together and I was with him. We were in Barkin Ladi, we were in Haipan, we were in Kantoma, we were in Pangshin. These were places where we were in Mangu, we were in Pangshin. These were places where people were. We had to go and meet them in the places, and the convention was taking relief materials to all those places. Sometimes we did the social ministries work by sending funds straight to the conference president. We have done that with fellowship conference, with the conference president in Mubi, in Adamawa State. We have done that with the Plateau conference people in times of disaster, to ensure that the work of the social ministries is continuing. And at various times, our social ministries director has also been involved in this going for distribution. So we are making waves there. You must know that we have improved now on our ministry to widows and widowers, so that right now we meet almost quarterly with our widows and widowers, and we are able to carry out our services towards them. So perfecting the NGO status of the social ministries is what we are almost completing, but the social ministries work of the convention has not been hindered, it has continued.
All right, thank you so much for that information you've given to us. Now let's take a look at moving forward, looking forward to the next 1 year in office, because you're already rounding off, for your tenure. And as we enter the final year of the office, what are the 3 top goals before completing your tenure? And what are the legacies that you would like to leave behind as the president of the Nigerian Baptist Convention?
Well, one of the things I mentioned at the coming was that instead of taking the convention today to this town, tomorrow to this town, tomorrow to this town, that is our annual session. It is too expensive. We go to one place, we spend so money building a camp and everything. We'd never return there again till the next 15 years. And when we come again, everything is spoiled. So we decided, let's change that. Part of the discontinuity was to discontinue making everywhere a venue. So the proposal I brought, let us just use the BICC Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the BICC in Abuja, and the BICC in Obinze. Those 3 places should be our places of meeting. As I can see now, the BICC in Lagos is the strongest one on ground, the largest of landmass and of facilities. But next year, we are going to Abuja. So one of my joys is that we are moving. We will go to Abuja, at least to go and have one convention there. From the way I'm seeing things, it may be that we'll have one convention and still return to the BICC, Lagos, Ibadan. And then after 1 or 2 years, we go to the other one and still return. I'm seeing the other 2 to be like annexes to the main one. We came to discover that we didn't know so much about camps as a denomination. We've been moving our convention around. But to stay in a place and have a camp, this is the first time we are doing so in the BICC since the history of our denomination in 1850. This is the first time. We came to discover that it is not easy to maintain a camp. That when you have a structure such as we have in the BICC, before you come back the following year, the extent of disrepair that will have taken place is enormous. And so each time we have gone to the BICC, we thank God, we have been buying additional land, we have been building additional structures. For the first time, this time we were there, I had an apartment right in the BICC to stay in, you understand, during the convention. We never had that before. So we've improved a lot on the BICC as it is. But now we are moving to Abuja. So one of the things I have had in mind is to be able to host in specific places. And if we go to Abuja, it's one of those specific places. And I'm glad that we will be doing that. But some of the legacies we've brought is some kind of radical inclusion, of people in the denominational life. As we operate at the convention level, I have been an advocate of youth involvement. I see a transition. Each time there is a transition. The older people are going, the younger people are coming. And the best way is to make these younger people know that this place is ours. Let them not feel as if the Baptist denomination belongs to the old people. No, it's theirs. And when we had the Arise Congress almost 2 years ago now, that was the impression we made by giving the flag of the convention to all the youths to say, convention is yours. But have you seen what we have been doing in the convention now? During the annual convention, what never happened before, we've been requesting for a youth to preach, a fresh student from a seminary And you know, by the nature of our seminary, sometimes you go one time, you go a second time, you go a third time. I was in Ogbomoso Seminary as a student 3 times. The first journey, the second journey, the third journey, studying. But we have insisted that the seminarian that will preach must be one who has never been a pastor before. He has never been any church. So a fresher. So we had about 3 of such preaching last year. We had 3 again preaching this year. The young people have felt so included that, yeah, these are in the past, we only went for the old people, the older generation to be the ones. Well, occasionally they put in some young ones, but definitely they won't take somebody inexperienced to come and lead. So a thing like that has been done. We've been a little more inclusive again of, like the Women's Missionary Union, WMU, in the things of the convention. I have had reasons to set committees to go and do something for us in the convention, to settle problem here. We had crisis one time in Providence Delta Conference. We had to send people there. We had crisis in another place. We had to send people there. You know, the other time you were asking about what we have been doing. You know, sometimes we call the chairman of the convention and we went in person to Taraba Conference to go and stay with them to try to solve the crisis going on there. And the office of the VP Ministerial has been doing a lot about crises involving. So conflict resolution, conflict handling has been so much of what we have been doing. I can see us leaving a legacy of more of youth awareness and youth participation in the denomination. I can see us leaving a legacy of very good place for us to have our programs as a denomination by these our camps. I can see a legacy of building up our mission work, especially international missions. Now working very hard with the Nigerian Baptist Conference in the UK and then the Nigerian Baptist Convention ministries in the United States of America. These are great things that we have galvanized. We started and galvanized. Some of them started on their own, but we came to kind of lift up and to bring more awareness of them into the convention. So I can see a future of stronger collaboration. People moving from here straight, you know, to start ministries that will cater for migrants that are in other parts, and not only migrants, but even the indigenes of those places that they are going. So a legacy is there, youth involvement, missionary activities going on. And if for anything, somebody saw me recently and said, if he will describe my ministry, he said, I came to the convention and I have been acting like a pastor. Not so much like an administrator, but as a pastor. Because a pastor is an administrator, of course. Who was pastor? Shepherd. To be a shepherd, that means you are a leader. You must be an administrator. But he was seeing this family thing in me. I think I have traveled to more of our convention spaces than any of my past predecessors. Everywhere I am, convention leadership never came here before. This is the first time we're having, you understand? So this church is celebrating 50 years, I'm there. This one is 100 years, I'm there. This one is this, I'm there. They are dedicating a church, I'm there. So I've tried to bring us together. I've tried to make every part of the convention feel we are one. So I believe that one of the legacies that I will be leaving behind is of oneness, you know. And then, to the glory of God, my faith is in Christ, but I believe in the convention. That's why I love our system where we take our decisions. I stand by the decision of the denomination. You can't shake me. You can't move me. Because I didn't come for myself. The Lord told me to come. and carry out this service. And I will carry it out in the best way. I believe in what we teach in the Baptist Church. We are thorough Bible people, Bible-believing people. We also believe that the Spirit of God can lead all of us. So in the priesthood of believers, we take our decisions. But once a decision is taken, if you want to change it or make us not to implement it, I will not accept. We must implement it because we have agreed that this is what we'll do. In the Baptist Church, you need to take your stand. And if you are waiting for everybody to like you, you will not do the right thing. So I'm not worried about you liking me. All I want is let God like me, and that's all. They said, the Bible says, Hebrews 13:5, never will I leave you nor forsake you. And then somebody now wrote somewhere, and I love that, never will I leave you nor forsake you. He now added, anyone may. In other words, anyone may leave me. Since the real one that said, never will I leave you nor forsake you is there, anyone may. You understand? At the end of the day, yes, we do all our best to bend, to bring everybody in. You understand? But ultimately, God's will must be followed. And I am leaving a legacy that if you are a leader, please take your stand. Don't be afraid. And I remember the days of Baba St. Olakande. He was that kind of leader. He could take his stand. I'm not saying that he was perfect, but I will ever love him because his yes was yes, and he took his stand on things. He was not usually maybe waving from the right to the left, and I think that's how leaders must be. Not to be rigid as if you don't forgive, or no, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we must give a direction, and we must go. And I want to thank the Nigerian Baptist Convention people for cooperation. In spite of noise you hear here and there, the cooperation is like never before. The number of churches supporting the convention now is like never before. Even our income to do the work of God together is like never before. We've never had as much as we have been having recently. So challenges may be going on here and there, but then the main thing is being done. The work of God, the missionary work is being done. Our mission fields are growing. Our missionary endeavors are not reducing. Our churches are planting new churches. We give glory to God. Our seminaries are graduating people in large numbers. Ogbomoso just graduated 400 and something number. I just came back from Obinze, graduating 200 and something number. Eku just graduated 300. These are people that will go to churches and go and be ministering. The denomination is expanding. And you know one more thing I need to tell you? God is good to us. I was in Obinze, and a whole new auditorium was built by one person and donated by that person, by name Dr. Lulu Briggs, a woman, a 5,000 capacity auditorium was donated to us, and she is not a Baptist. Do you know all that she has as Baptist in her? Her father was a tutor in the Baptist Boys High School, Port Harcourt. And she lived in the compound and saw how students dressed and cherished the work her father did. And that Baptist connection in her made it easy for her to be persuaded when one of our Baptist leaders approached her to say, we have this need in our seminary in Obinze Baptist College of Theology. Can you do it for us? And she agreed that she would do. I was there to receive the keys of the new auditorium, donated to us as a Nigerian Baptist Convention, 5,000-seater auditorium. It happened at this time. Before that time, I was in Eku, the Baptist Seminary Eku. One Fred Ovie, he built for us a big auditorium that can seat about 500 to 600 people. Well furnished, everything. He built it and donated it to the Baptist Theological Seminary in Eku. Let me tell you, This guy, his great impact is that he was in Baptist High School, Jos, as a student, and he was a member of Ebenezer Baptist Church, Sapele. The impression the church made on him has made him to be coming back. And it is not only that school, he has been doing things in various places too. That in the Baptist church, you have somebody living in the United States of America and coming back to do this kind of things for us as a denomination. But that's not all the story. In the Nigerian Baptist Theological Seminary in Ogbomoso, in 1965, one man said his wife delivered in a place there they call Francis Jones. You know, I think the nurses there helped her. That's inside the seminary. And that Francis Jones is used as a hospitality complex now. This man now, who is about in his 90s, living in the United States, he came back, a Nigerian, to come and build a block of 8 flats at the Nigerian Baptist Theological Seminary, Ogbomoso. He said we should use it as additional guest house. So we have apartments kind of guest houses now in Ogbomoso, donated to the Nigerian Baptist Convention. Go to Bowen University. You know, early next month, I will be in Bowen University. Is it early next month? No, late this month. I will be in Bowen University to commission a clinic that was donated to us. Somebody built it from the beginning and donated to us. Other facilities like that. Never in our history have we got so much goodwill coming in from this place and from that place. Early this year, January 11, I was in Mina to go and receive a complex of hostels given to our mission school, Baptist Mission School in Mina, donated by an NGO that was facilitated by a Baptist pastor, Nigerian Baptist Convention pastor, who works again outside of the convention, but used this opportunity to let our convention receive that mission house donation. And all of these facilities are facilities I went to receive. So I was just being given, this one belongs to the convention, this one belongs to the convention, this family has given the convention, this family has given the convention. What more can we say than to say, God, we thank you? And that is how it is. Even global missions, they are just reporting that donation has come to global missions. A family has given us 100 million global missions. Not 100,000. A family has given us 50 million. What are you saying? Hey, it's a bright time for the Nigerian Baptist Convention and we are just growing. And now let me go to even New Frontiers. Our New Frontiers television has had challenges. Thanks be to God that we have had again very great people that have loved the denomination and have served. Our chairman of the New Frontiers board has gone extra miles to personally, revive our vehicular activities, personally to help us procure some things that we have needed to set us on course so that we will continue with our evangelistic work. See, the New Frontiers is a megaphone to reach the world, with the gospel of Christ through our ministry. And with the chairman of the board and members of the board, they have contributed their time, their money, their talents into the New Frontiers, and things are moving. So I think we are leaving a legacy of goodwill, of people loving the denomination, supporting the denomination. We thank God for them.
To you, and you will end well in Jesus' name. Well, that's an insightful conversation with the convention president, Reverend Dr. Israel Adelani Akanji, and we'll be having this conversation to mark its 4th year in the office as the convention president.
Years have been filled with intentional leadership, necessary reforms, and a vision that seeks to unify and also uplift the Baptist family across Nigeria and beyond.
So as we look ahead to the final stretch of his tenure, we pray for continued wisdom, strength, and divine guidance. So thank you so much for joining us on this Media Chat 2.0 with the Convention President, Reverend Dr. Israel Adelani Akonji, broadcasting live on New Frontiers Television, Star Time, Channel 285, and across all our social media platforms.
My name is Shegun Fumi Oyedo. Until next time.
And I'm Temitope Oladipo. Thank you for joining us.
God bless you and God bless the Nigerian Baptist Convention.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.